talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just live. There's no intro.
Yeah.
There's no intro. So if you go back to this, then you're gonna see that we're not working with Jack today unless he's just super late and maybe on the wrong time zone or something. But we were just talking about movies we've watched and videos we've seen and books that Terri has read. So we just here, go live. And so you're talking about
we're just
Monroe.
I'm just revisiting the Robert Monroe stuff. He wrote 3 different books, and so now I'm just into the Far Journeys one, which was the second one. But his story was really interesting with the Monroe, and how he got started. He was having out of body experiences, but he thought he was going crazy. He thought that there was something wrong. And he was, at the time he was a professional. So he was really cautious about how he talked to people. And he did know psychologists and stuff. And they said, no, everything is okay. And they put him through different kinds of tests. So he didn't have a brain tumor. He wasn't schizophrenic, but he was starting to go through things like a vibrational state, which would be something he would do before he would do some astral traveling. So as he just kind of generally worked with it, but it took him a long time before he actually got into doing stuff. So it was in the books, it's his journeys, it's a recollection of how he got started and then his experiences as he was doing the astral traveling and stuff.
Now, what book is this?
That's Far Journeys by Robert Monroe. I've got the other. I'm reading that one on PDF, but the other 2 are. Where are they?
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and share screen on that. Our scheduled speaker is not here, so we're just talking about some things that we've been reading and so on.
Yeah, so it was here. One of them is Journeys Out of the Body, and the other one is Ultimate Journey and Far Journeys. So this was happening to him in the late 50s and into the 60s. So there wasn't a lot of information that he was able to find. He did some Eastern study of Eastern philosophy, but he was just talking about how there was sort of a whole underground movement that he had become aware of. And I believe that these would have been the people who were the psychics who had experiences and that sort of thing. But a lot of those people didn't want to go mainstream because of the judgment that would have been bestowed upon them. So he said, it was, you just kind of found your way through in these places and got to know people in that way. And he said, if anybody published a book, it was like people would just sort of, kind of gravitate to it. But he did mention people like Andrei Pahovich or whatever his name was, and so there were people who were doing things, but it wasn't very mainstream. And so then he got into, he established the Monroe Institute and did research, but he was always at the forefront of the research. It was his experiences first. He didn't want to put people into get people involved in it until he knew that it was a safe thing. So it's interesting because that was in the late 60s and into the 70s. And so look at where we are now. So many people are doing astral traveling and remote viewing and stuff, but he actually had done a lot of remote viewing and learning and like setting up a program for remote viewing. So I know that they were pretty instrumental with the whole remote viewing and developing a system of doing it in a safe way.
It's amazing how it's I don't know if it is really still okay to share these things or not, but it's amazing how now we're doing it in a brave way.
Yeah.
That people are just getting to this point where they don't care. I'm going to share this episode, Terry. Let's just have some fun with it. I don't know. Do you remember Barney Miller?
Yeah.
Do you remember the episode about the Trilateral Committee?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm going to play that.
Yeah.
The Trilateral. All right, what is the Trilateral Commission? It's an organization founded in 1973 by David Rockefeller to bring together business and political leaders from the United States, Europe, Japan, so they could work together for better economic and political cooperation between their nations. That's what they'd like us to believe. But you see, what they're really up to is a scheme to plant their own loyal members in positions of power in this country, to work to erase national boundaries and create an international community, and in time bring about a one world government with David Rockefeller calling the shots. I take it they're pressing charges? Yeah, well, the globe and some UNICEF artwork. Well, they're in on it too.
You know, I didn't catch the part about the UNICEF artwork because as I'm traveling, I'm seeing who's in charge of the monuments, like the places we visited in Armenia and all the sacred sites is, kept up, guarded, or monitored. I don't know what you would like to say, basically owned by UNICEF.
Mm-hmm.
Rebel said, have you read or heard of the Emotion Code? No, but I don't know.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what's that about, Terry?
Okay, hold on a second. I got it.
Oh, the Emotion Code.
The Emotion Code by
Bradley Nelson.
Yeah.
That is some serious truth in plain sight, right? And that's like 19, what year? Barney Miller. Good night.
Yeah.
That is, does it say what episode it was? It's really made to help the bullying, right, Rebel? It's like if I put it on TV and make fun of it and get ahead of it, by the time you're the person that says, have you heard about the Trilateral Commission? Now you're a complete, you're crazy, like that guy on Barney Miller.
Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist.
Right, yeah. Lots of weird stuff in the movies, because back then they had those movies. I remember, I'm still trying to find this movie where the people were sitting down at dinner. It was a prominent psychologist who was joining a secret society, and he was telling his wife, like, no, we have to do this. We have to do this. Like, this is going to make my career. And he had all these promises. And then one night at dinner, they had to eat poop. And this was a movie, and I cannot find the movie. Oh yeah, Sean Bond is amazing. Oh yeah. But so they had to eat it, and the lady said, I don't want it. He said, her husband said, you better eat that shit. So, like, they had to eat, but and I saw a clip of it on Facebook, and I cannot find the name of the movie. I can't find the movie. It's really interesting how these really old movies, they say way more than what we give them credit for. But you guys were talking about the Emotion Code, and that was, he said, I guess
I have a book here somewhere. I was doing some studying with of it, but yeah, exactly what you're saying, Rebel, about the muscle. Yeah, and clearing. It's really really goes really deep. It's very interesting work to do.
It gets into that pain chart, right?
Yeah, and you do a lot. You use your muscle testing a lot and stuff like that, just to figure out what is it. Is it from here or is it from there and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Sean is one of my favorites. When it comes to dealing with emotions, he really like the amount of self-care that he does for himself is amazing. Like that's why sometimes I do this. I learned this from him. Like, my teacher, she would talk about being safe, feeling safe in the body, but then him, like I literally see him do these things and I'm like, yeah. And sometimes I have to catch my breath when I'm anxious and I literally do that.
yeah.
So what else have you been reading about, Terry? I've been watching movies.
Well,
Has anybody
I've been reading
noticed?
about that. Because I do I've taught, like some of the stuff that I've taught, and so I'm just kind of revisiting my curriculum that I've taught. So, and part of it was I wanted to go because I've been trained a lot through the Gateway program from the Monroe Institute and stuff like that. So when I teach like a class, and I'm not going to call it channeling anymore, I'm going to just connecting to the higher self. So I'm just sort of revisiting a lot of stuff that Robert Monroe had experienced and information from the Monroe Institute on how I've learned to do those things. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I've been doing stuff with the Akashic records and going back into that and just contemplating. And I think I told you earlier, this morning I was sitting, I have a pool where I live, and I was sitting in the sauna and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm remembering the future. And it's like, time had there were no boundaries in time. Like it was like, I'm remembering a future that hasn't happened yet. And it's like, okay, I had to just sort of step back and say, okay, everything is just kind of sort of dissolving into itself. And it's kind of interesting to move forward in your day. Is like, is this real? Is this not real? What am I experiencing? That.
Or is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like we know that things are changing, but and our we're some of us are moving outside of the matrix or the program or whatever. So when that happens, like things start to sort of meld into each other. So is there a past? Is there a present? Is there a future? We're getting out of that. It just is, right? Instead of seeing it linearly, it's like we're in a bubble.
Right. We're living in the multi-dimensional, right? We're not stuck in the solid state of gas, right? Like, or started solid state. We're in these multiple layers. I was trying to figure, like, is it being out of the matrix? Is it being out of reality? Or is it it's out of this physical reality versus, where are we?
Well, a lot of people have a lot of theories about, oh, it's this way or it's that way, or oh, we're on a flat Earth, or no, we're not.
Game
And
theory.
you know what? It's like it depends on where you are in your bubble, right? There's a lot of. It's not that these other things are true or they're not true. It's a perception of the reality, and where is our perceptions.
And the truth lies between you and I have to agree on reality for it to be real.
Exactly.
Because
We're
is it real
agreeing
to
that
you?
this is a chair. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
What I was thinking about lately is how many movies there are about the end of the world, because I feel like they're trying to make that reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to show this too, because this is ridiculous. There's so many end of the world movies, like, but they're new ones. It wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad before, but now it seems like they're upping the ante.
Yeah.
With the movies. And I just even the amount of cartoons, and these are all old ones. These aren't even the new ones.
Yeah.
These are just old movies. But it seems like they want us to will it into existence.
Exactly.
It seems like maybe this is a part of why everybody's waiting for the aliens are coming to take us away, and God is coming to take us away. And I'm trying to tell people, I don't think anybody's coming to take us away. You're going to be right here like we were in 1918 in the year 36, in the year 36 AD. We were, people have been waiting for the end of the world for a long time. I was trying to find, there's a new one in, there's the end. There's new ones on Netflix, and it's really starting to piss me off because there's some stuff that's like, your chest is pounding, it's giving people anxiety and stress, and it's 2024, end of days, end of the world, end of the game, end of the world trailer. There's a new one, but it's like China or something like that. Seeking friends for the end of the world. One of them that I did watch that, God, really, so many movies about the end of the world, is Carol and the End of the World.
Oh, okay.
And I really do kind of want to talk about that one day, but I don't know. Maybe we'll watch the trailer for it. Is it on here? Is it playing?
No, it's not playing yet.
Oh, okay. That was it?
No, it didn't play.
What? Share this tab instead. Okay,
oh, here it is.
Okay, cool.
Hurtling towards Earth. It's unclear, but we believe...
Does your dog know it's the end of the world? There isn't a single person out there who doesn't have it. The hunger to do more, be more, live more.
I don't really know what I want. Everyone's got all these plans, and
Massive job walk-offs making work a thing of the past.
The stock market bell rang for the last time today.
Every second is precious now.
At the speed it's moving, 9C will have the impact of a 10
We're not going to be upset.
We just don't want you to miss out.
Find meaning. Live the life you want, in the way you want.
Time is almost up.
With 7 months and 13 days remaining, what will you be doing?
You have all these people sleepwalking through life unconscious.
I just want to grab them and shake them out of their bodies. I always have to pry it out of you. Otherwise, you won't tell me anything. I don't even know what you're doing, for Christ's sake.
holy
Lovely. And one more just in case. Great.
So this is
Name?
Carol Cole. I'm an administrative assistant for an accounting department.
Me llamo Donna.
Amigos?
Hola, Donna. I don't know how it works or why it's even there, but I like it and it makes me happy.
I am Carol Cole! And with Kepler's gravitational pull slowing Earth's rotation, get ready for 19
There was a
hours.
time we were all lost, looking for somewhere to go.
I wish I didn't have to work as much as I did. Maybe I could have done it differently.
Sometimes you just gotta give things time to be lost.
Who's ready to die tonight?
Before they can be found.
Carol!
Carol Daphne Cole.
I love you, Carol.
So I'm going to tell you the truth. I have watched it like 10 times now.
Oh, okay.
That because it really, I think the difference between that one and other ones is like it's talking about people trying to make themselves happy. Like you got time, everybody's starting to walk off from their job, and people quit their jobs and they go hang gliding and skiing and doing all these things. Her parents become nudists. they start a relationship with their caregiver, and they have like a 3-way relationship, and the 3 of them get married and go on a cruise. It's like everybody just was like, you know what? No more rules, right? No more rules. But Carol, her parents are worried about her because she keeps going to this old Applebee's that she's in love with, and she just really, she misses her Applebee's. It's the favorite Applebee's. And I think other people are like trying to go to Tibet and do all these major exciting things. But in reality, it seems like they're still in the Matrix mind anyway, because a lot of them are just trying to compete with other people and do what they see other people doing. And she's this person that's unmovable. That does not make her happy.
Yeah.
What makes her happy is what? Applebee's. This other lady, she said, I love the sound of the stapler. The other guy, he said, I love the Post-it notes. And so they go drifting in, through the city, and they start to see people in work clothes, and they follow them all to this building where this one business is still going. And it's all the people who just want to go to work. They just all find this job, and they're like, what is this place? They don't even know the name of it. They call the job the distraction. So you could look at it in more than one way. Like, we could look at our job as a distraction, but for them, it keeps their mind off of we're all gonna die, because I guess we all just have this whole different view of it. For some people, they're so overwhelmed, like we're all gonna die, and some people are like, I'm gonna do everything I want, like they're just gonna go insane. People are jogging naked. I mean, people are just all over doing whatever. And when she comes downstairs from her apartment, it's like a party 24/7. But for some people, that's annoying, right? I don't want to see you naked. I don't care if it's the end of the world. I just want to be in my part that makes me happy. So these group of people, they just kind of gravitate towards each other. And then Carol comes, and she's just happy she has a job. So she's lying to her parents about what she's doing because they want her to travel. And she's like, no. And it's so funny because one of the people she works with, a guy tells him, like, I've been here, and here. And she says, ooh, that sounds exhausting. So to her, the sound of travel, it's like we think fulfilling our dreams is going to be the thing that everybody wants to do, but not everybody wants excitement. Not everybody wants to go to India and smell the smells and taste the food. Some people are just happy, but I think we don't give people credit for being happy doing what it is that they're doing. And we think, oh, let's wave our magic wand and mix it up for them because that's what they would like. But it's so many points to it. Like, her sister is hang gliding and doing all this fancy stuff. And she says, you know what, Carol, I'm really jealous of you because you know what you want, you know what you don't want, you know what you like, and you know what you don't. And she said, I just really spend most of my time doing what other people are doing. Mm. So it's really interesting. Huh?
I said Kendrick just said hi, so I'm just saying hi to him here.
Kendrick. Right, we will live forever. Sorry, we will live forever. But I don't know, it was just a thing too. One of the woman, Donna, she's a single mom, and she had her own nail salon, and they're having Christmas like every month. People are just making up holidays. Like, on a day when you're celebrating Christmas, other people are celebrating Thanksgiving, and other people are celebrating Halloween. It's just like they're just doing whatever. It's so funny. And so she has Christmas with her family, and she doesn't know anything about her kids. Like, oh, I didn't know you used to act or sing or dance. And because she used to work so much, and she felt so guilty because she said she felt like maybe she could have done it differently. And she's like, I worked all my life and had this business and did all these, did all this work. And now this planet is going to come out of the sky and just destroy it all. That's what's happening. There's a planet getting closer and closer, and it's supposed to collide with the Earth. But I suspect in season 2 there won't be a collision.
Oh, that's Nibiru, I suppose, is the planet.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. I know I was reading somewhere that that Nibiru, they actually put it that it was supposed to come into our surroundings, but Apparently, it's been put on hold and put onto a different trajectory, so it doesn't quite come into. It's going to wait until we get onto the other side of the sun or something. I don't know. There's so many explanations, so many theories out there. Not that I don't doubt them. It's just that we have no way of really, we read about what somebody has said or what they're, and it's like, okay, that's a possibility, but it's all possibilities, and we're all
right. It's not that you don't that you doubt them, but it's like, do you want to be attached to them? Like, I just think, we gotta just let a lot of things just roll off of us, because we can't be attached to number one, we really can't be attached to the outcomes, but we can't be attached to all the predictions, because I guess for me, that's for the people who want to watch and wait.
Yeah.
And I don't want to watch and wait. I don't want you to wake me up at 2 a.m. to tell me that we're about to die. I actually want to just live as much as I can.
Yeah.
And then surprise me with it. Don't wake me up. Don't wake me up to tell me.
It's interesting because maybe there's all these possibilities in front of us. There's all these different timelines, and we get to choose how we want to move to our next stage of evolution. Maybe there are some that are going to, go into that dystopia, and maybe there are some that are going to, like go off and be on, move off, and you're on a mothership somewhere. So there's all these
if me and you agree that we're gonna move off into paradise and have fun and live our best life, then me and you are moving over here. And if you believe that everything's gonna burn and crash, and then you're gonna be over there, and it'll crash and burn over there. So you go over there with your crash and burn. I'll be over here.
We're going to paradise, right?
Right, we're gonna hang out with the margaritas. It's funny because that really just sounds a lot like what people's concept of heaven and Armageddon really is. Like when you think about the rapture, when people just disappear, they're gonna go up there, or they're gonna go into this other dimension, or this other, what do you call it? Into another dimension, right? Yeah. Into another reality where you just walk through the bubble, and now you're in paradise, so to speak. Those are all your other selves.
Yeah.
Because our souls are infinite fractals in different essences. True.
Yeah.
But did you one thing that I caught just now that I didn't catch, because in the beginning, I remember I watched it, and there was this a party in the park, and he said, "Are y'all ready to die tonight?" Because they're not going to die for another 7 months. But look at him pumping the mindset of, it's over, we're all gonna die. And it to me, this is what I see around us, is people pumping up that mindset of, this is gonna be the worst, we're gonna die, this is what's gonna happen. Oh, remember, when you would go to church and people would be like, oh yeah, it's gonna burn. Like they would rather be right and let everyone go to hell just to be right, than to even be open to the idea that, no, maybe this isn't going to happen. No, maybe we're not all going to go to hell and burn, and maybe we'll just be just fine, or maybe we'll all go to heaven. Yeah. Or maybe we'll go to this other reality where we all wake up and be like, nice game, Terry. You played a really good bad guy, and I played a really good guy. Now let's move on to the next game that we're going to go play.
Exactly.
But here he was pumping in that mindset of, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die, even though it was this big party. But that's what I see around us now. Like, the black goo's gonna get you. I remember when this girl was talking about black goo was gonna get us if you had fake fingernails. Black goo gonna get you if you had a tattoo. Black goo's gonna get you if you. It was like, okay, thanks, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for the black goo update.
Well, and it's like, let's instill fear, because fear feeds the loosh. And going back to what we started talking about, Robert Monroe was the one who coined the phrase loosh, right? So
Oh, I did not know that.
yes, and so that's why I'm going back to going back to these books, because it's like, okay, what he said 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago is now relevant, and I think it's important for us to sort of go back through our timeline that we see and pick up those pieces that we left behind, pick up those Easter eggs that we hid, like this was because there is no time, we put things on our timeline, and now it's time to pick up and just go back and say, oh, okay, now it has meaning to me. At the time it didn't have meaning. And I'm going to, I think I've shared this, but I'll share it again, is when my father passed away, he came to me in a dream, and we sat at this in the clouds. We sat at this cafe, and it had the little bar with the round stools and the little booths and all that kind of stuff, and we had this really interesting conversation. But he said, and that was in 1979, but he said to me, like, you don't understand things now, but you will at some point have a better understanding of this. And he said, you don't really die. But he said, I'm just moving on, but I'm still with you. And he ended up walking through a corridor into, into just a light. And I had no understanding of what that was all about. Until years later, when I started to do, like the Going Home program from the Monroe Institute. And then I started to realize that, oh, damn, there is this cafe at the edge of our reality where you can meet with people who've passed on, or different energies and stuff. And it was like, now I look back on it and think about that profound experience. But 45 years ago, it didn't mean very much, but it does now.
45 years ago, your father passed?
Yeah, 79.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so you met him in the cafe. What year was that he was in the cafe?
Oh, it was just after his
right
death.
After. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is from Robert Monroe.
Okay.
I think in 1958, radio broadcasting executive Robert Monroe suffered a series of bizarre events at the age of 43, and then experiments opened a portal to the dimension where the reptilians humanoids resided. And so then that is talking about hemisync, the portal dimensions, and how the reptilians emerged. So these are his diagrams.
Right.
Let me see what this says. More Clive Burrows portrayals of reptilians overshadowing a human while not actually occupying the body. Burrows produced these illustrations from the descriptions by one of the countless people I have met who see the reptilians of the lower fourth dimension. They appear to attach to the human by two of the lower chakras. You know what's interesting about that? To me, when I would watch Penny Dreadful or certain stuff, I would feel like a pressure on the top of my head, like I would feel something. And then I knew from having that on, that particular thing, that was a presence in my home now that I had let in through watching that show. And it doesn't always happen, but I feel like that's something similar to this, where it's not occupying your body, but it's
around you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting with the in the Gateway program with the Monroe Institute. One of the things that you learn right from the beginning when you start to go into the different focus levels is there's an affirmation, because and in the affirmation you are stating right at the beginning, your intention is that you are doing this for the expansion of human consciousness, and that you are not allowing any other energies unless it's beneficial and of a higher frequency. So they recognize from the beginning that there were these other energies that were malevolent in a lot of ways. So part of the program with the Gateway program is, and they were called explorers, or, you know, as you do it, you're an explorer. You actually are protecting yourself against these other energies by putting yourself in a protective shield.
And what I was looking for was the definition of loosh, because maybe everybody doesn't really, because it doesn't seem like people are talking about it, because it seems like people are so excited by the negative stuff that they're not really talking about, hey, remember that thing called loosh? We're making it.
Yeah, we are.
We're
Exactly.
making it now.
Yeah.
The more we do this, the more we're making loosh.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point. You're supposed to anchor in joy.
Yeah. Not lush, but loosh.
I know, but I was waiting for you to go ahead and give us the definition of loosh.
Well, yeah, it is that energy that we have when we're in fear, when we're in anxiety, and so these other energies that are, let's call them other dimensional, they actually feed on the energy that's provided. So they are not necessarily feeding on the food, but the loosh is the food for them. And so whenever there is fear, whenever there's mass hysteria and stuff, this is the energy that they suck on. This is what feeds them. This is what gives them their excitement. You know, that this is what gives them their power is the loosh. And so when they see suffering, there's loosh. And you find that there are these beings that are going to be around in places like where there is war, where there is death, because this is what they feed off of, is that low frequency, and that gives them their high. And so when we want to talk to any of the, talk about any of the ritualism, there's those other beings, those other dimensional beings that are feeding off of the suffering of people.
So you've heard of this thing called the twofer?
The twofer.
The twofers and the chai bits. It's like birds of a feather flock together. So to transmute or transform that energy rather than waiting for them to be harvested, twofers is then followed by two or more positives to transmute. I don't know. Every dark thought, as it is recognized as dark, is followed by two or more positives to transmute and transform that energy ourselves rather than waiting for them to be harvested and used as fuel. So I guess it's like combating one negative thought with two or more positive thoughts.
Right. Yeah.
Birds of our thought. So it's saying the same thing with your thoughts are like birds of a feather that flock together.
Yeah.
So collecting and merging into bigger bits or clouds of thought that you attract the like. So you are throwing breadcrumbs just like a fairy tale. So if your thoughts are two or more negative thoughts, what happens is you accumulate and start to attract people who think like you, and now you're surrounded by the people with the negative thoughts, and it becomes, now you become like a big feeding ground, like you were saying. Ooh, neat.
Okay, why is it such a good fuel or source for them? Emotion is co-created because you carry the divine spark within you. This allows you to produce emotions that carry God energy. It also means your discarded emotions or loosh can also be used as fuel for entities and energies that would hold you back. All the more reason to resolve or recycle your negative emotions. Make it a habit.
Yeah, make it a habit.
Yeah.
I like this. But so here we go with I like the one end of the world movie, but I don't know what it was that attracted me to that movie, but I think it's because she's more introspective and not woe is me.
Yeah.
And then the intro, I mean, within the first 4 minutes, they're talking about basically go live your best life. And I think that message belongs here, regardless of if there's a physical ending of the world or not. You should live like it is the end.
Yeah.
You actually should live and dare to dream and dare to be bold and dare to be, there's no fear element in that show. I liked it too because she doesn't. It's honestly there's no sex in it. There's no cursing in it, and it's really surprising, for an adult cartoon. But there's no extra element of intenseness.
Yeah.
Like there's just certain stuff that the minute you get it, it's like, oh, end of the world. But they're definitely trying to build on these negative thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, because the negative thoughts will feed them and stuff. So I think it's realization that and all the fear mongering that we have now, because you turn on anything, what is it? They've programmed us to be in fear, and that just feeds them their energies. So,
what card do you want to put today, Terri?
What card?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
We don't waste time, y'all, because even if the person didn't show, we gonna do something.
I think we need. The first deck I pulled here was the Sacred Forest.
We getting up close and personal now. Our faces just got bigger. We personal. My first card flew out. Is it one card just flew out or once? Oh, I love it when cards fly out.
What do you got?
Oh, I got the animals.
Ah, okay.
Very nice. Do animal instinct, because animals know what to do.
Exactly.
Hey, Jermaine, how you doing, boo? How you doing? We were supposed to have Jack Cary today. Have you ever heard of him, Jermaine? But now we just talked about all these end of the world movies and how, and Loosh and stuff like that. And all right, we got something interesting. A snake.
Oh, interesting.
And the butterflies. Now I'll tell you off the rip, 2 things. Those are all both transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because the snake sheds its skin. Are we still on here?
Yeah.
Okay, because the screen thing fell down. So definitely, I think it too, like the snake is low to the ground. But guess what? The snake can act, snakes can fly. Snakes can climb up to the top of a tree. They can get carried on the wind. They can go along the top of the bush. They can go underneath the ground. They can do way more than, and they're very flexible. That would be, just something I would notice. And then with the butterfly, it starts out in the cocoon, but it needs time to change. It can only change if you try to see a butterfly halfway out of the cocoon and you try to cut it open to let it out, you'll actually destroy the butterfly and he
Yeah.
won't be able to finish the process on its own.
Yeah.
That's something that always stood out to me, but here it is. It's something that crawls to the ground, and yet it ends up being able to fly, and it feeds off the beauty of nature around us, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's just me off the rip saying that. I don't know. You did your cards? You got your cards?
I'm picking from the Sacred Forest. So Jermaine, the guy that we were supposed to interview was Jack Cary, and he had the Paranormal Intelligence Agency.
Right. I can show it to you. Let me see where it is. Carol, blah. I got so many screens up. Paranormal Intelligence Agency. I'm gonna share screen so Jermaine can see it. What you been doing, Jermaine? Loosh is produced by trauma. Yeah, they use the lower two chakras, they said, right?
Yeah.
Where is it? Where is it? I must got too many screens open. And so it doesn't want to show me where the thing is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Jermaine, he's been on Gaia. Apparently, he's had a show on Gaia. They interviewed him on programs like Ancient Civilizations, Deep Space, and Open Minds.
You didn't tell me that, Terri.
Well, I just found that out.
Oh, okay. I was like, Terry's keeping information.
I did my research, Erica.
Oh, okay. He got this book, the Enoch Code, that I was reading. It is very dense with information. Yeah, I watched his thing about the reptilian agenda thing. He's got a lot of research. Yeah, he even does cryptid knowledge.
And crypto creatures.
Huh. I think certain
Yeah, and he was talking about interdimensional doorways. So it's too bad that he was a no-show today.
I think it was a time zone thing, y'all.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, so
he said I'm off my slave post. He's so silly.
Is Eagle Spirit, Freedom.
Oh, let me just make myself smaller and make you bigger. Go ahead.
Okay, so the first card here is Eagle Spirit and Freedom.
What card deck is this? Is this the animal cards?
No, this is the Sacred Forest.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. So we're talking about flying. So it's about our freedom. You know, the butterfly transformation and the eagle flies high above, right? So we take that aspect of ourselves, and we were talking about the end of the world scenarios and stuff, and it's like, no, we don't have to follow into that false belief system, because like you said, Jermaine, that's how they're creating Loosh, is, create fear. So if we take that higher road and fly above it, we're going to see, we'll have a different perspective. And the next one is toadstools. So it's about growth.
That is amazing.
And it's interesting because toadstools, like they grow very fast. Like, it may just pop its head out of the ground, in the morning, and by the afternoon, it's almost like a full grown, and then the next day it's blossomed. So it's interesting with the toadstool, the growth, and I think we have that ability to be exponential at this point. Like we're growing, and when we take that eagle spirit, when we fly above and we see that freedom, it allows us to grow really quickly. And we're seeing things from a different perspective, which allows our growth. And so we don't have to be pulled down by the fear and stuff. If we allow the fear to just sort of be an aspect of that lower frequency, soon as we start to move up, like once we move into that heart space, I think Kendrick was talking about that, is once we move into that heart space, then it allows us to see things from a perspective that is not going to, that we can rise above that that fear. And the next one.
Kendrick, you are so right too, because the melanin, people don't realize melanin is in your heart, and also there's melanin in your brain.
Yeah.
So people think melanin is only in the skin, and so they judge people by the skin, and it's like, yeah, but people have different amounts of melanin all in different parts of their body. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. And so then I pulled a third card, and it is Wizard of the Woods, and it's a focus. So we are the wizards in our life, and what we focus on, this is what we're going to create. So we can focus on our growth, and we can focus on our freedom, and we don't have to be attached to a false timeline, a timeline of fear. We can expand, like we were talking about earlier, Erica. We're going to live in a paradise. We don't have to live in a dystopia. We are
funny that we said paradise until we got a snake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. So we're going to move into the timeline that is what we are projecting forward, what we see, not what we're being told.
Very interesting. I'm going to read it because, so with the snake, it says creation. It is time to shed your skin and try something new. Creation is your birthright. You must understand that to remain stagnant means atrophy. So do not fear your own creative flow. We talked about all this. And if you have a physical ailment, a healing will occur. You are capable of the transformation if you haven't begun. So we did say that transformation. With the butterfly, is that the soul, to experience our full selves, we often go through a difficult period of transformation and growth. Trust what you feel. We all have stages to pass through in life, and it's not easy. Look ahead where you wish to be, not where you have been. Wow. Self-trust and trust of your partner are necessary. But I really enjoy, because it's like, it seems these things have different perspective, because they both can be on the ground, in the air, and changing perspective, moving. Oh man, it's really good stuff to ingest for yourself, and like to see how you can change your perspective to a higher perspective. The snake can, like you say, go all the way to the top of a tree, can shed its skin.
Yeah. But then the bird, and it's interesting.
The bird molts, right?
We've got the elements with the bird and the butterfly, right? They're air elements. And so they fly. They see a perspective
of above. My neighbor told me a story. Oh, Terri, you froze. Unless I froze. Did Terri freeze or did I freeze, you guys? I think Terri froze.
Okay, I'm back.
There you go. You're back. Okay.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that it's interesting that the cards we both chose, one was air and one was earth, right?
Yeah, one air, one earth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we just have, and as the wizard, it's like we are the wizard. We can, what we focus on is what we create in our life.
Mm-hmm. I just want to tell this story. My neighbor, and then we can wrap up. But my neighbor told me this story. Mr. Khan, he looks like Sarat Khan. Is it? No, he looks like Sadhguru. Like he has the beard and everything. Hey, girl, Brandy, our favorite star, galactic star shot leader. And he said, there's a baby, like the two baby birds were in the nest, right? And one of them couldn't fly, like he had a damaged wing, but the other one, he his mom pushed him out, he began to fly, and then he came back to the nest. And I guess he was basically, I can't tell the story properly, y'all, but the point is that the perspective of the one bird, that safety was in the nest, and the perspective of the other bird, like he just had a different perspective on life because he was able to see further away. He was able to fly and see things further away. He was able to inspect the ground and inspect the air. And, for the one in the nest, the whole world was the nest. And for the one in the sky, the one that was able to fly, his perspective was more of the whole world, not just this one small microcosm. So, and like Jermaine said, subscribe, share, like, and subscribe. Thank you, Jermaine, for popping in and showing up, showing up and showing out while you're not at your slave assignment for the day. You can look at it that way, but it could be a perspective of a space that you can go inspect and bring back intel, as well as meet new people.
There's something to be said about doing things on a repetitive basis, because then it allows you to download higher information.
Yeah, especially with all that
energy. And process it.
Yeah, because you're coming to a place where you're being exposed to lots of different kinds of energy. So who knows what you can pick up. Yeah. I wonder what you can pick up too in a place like the airport. I wonder what you can pick up. We should research that and figure that out. How can you use that to your advantage?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, what you think, Carrie? I don't know why I'm going to start calling you Carrie, but
you're going to call me Carrie. I've been called Carrie many times.
So we're going into space. I think we might, since we didn't start with an intro, we might spell out with the flute. Jermaine, you got to tell us how you like this flued out logo. I'm about to play it, so let us know. Hold on a second. I see a comment, 2 comments. Right? Yeah, you have to rewind the list.
We love you too, Brandy.
Yeah, we love you. So we're going to get flued out. But Jermaine, you got to tell me how you like the flute. And we're going to leave you like that. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.